Welcome to InfoSource, a presentation of Berkshire Healthcare Systems, a not-for-profit system of post-acute healthcare services, including long-term care, short-term rehabilitation, independent living, assisted living, memory care programs, and hospice services available to our neighbors and families here in the Berkshires and beyond. I'm your host, Rachel Colasino, and my guests for today's show are Beth Wallace from Berkshire Community College, Erin Sullivan from Hospice Care in the Berkshires, and Rachel Redd from Hillcrest Commons Nursing and Rehabilitation Center here in Pittsfield. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So November 11th is Veterans Day, so our program today is going to focus on veterans and something very special that we're doing for veterans this month, which is a showing of a documentary called Honor Flight. So Erin, I'd like to start with you. Can you tell me, first of all, what has been planned?
Sure. So on November 11th at 4 p.m., we will be showing the documentary film Honor Flight, which depicts the story of World War II veterans in a Midwestern town that traveled to the War Memorial in Washington, D.C. And what's special about this particular group of veterans is it becomes a whole community event, and there's a swell of community resources and support that really comes together to bring these particular veterans to the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. And so honor flights are offered all across the country, and they are flights that are free of charge for veterans that afford them the opportunity to go and see the World War II Memorial. So it becomes a very emotional and celebratory event for veterans all across the United States.
And the documentary portrays one group of veterans, especially who are trying to get to the War Memorial?
It is. It's one, and as we know, most of our World War II vets are aging. They're in their 80s and 90s at this particular time. And so this group of gentlemen that were that wanted to go, and the community that was supporting them, some of them had chronic illness, some of them were actually on hospice services at the time. And it really wasn't just let's get on a plane and go for a trip. It really was a lot of logistics and how are we going to make sure that these folks stay safe and really have the opportunity and the experience that they really deserve. And so the send-off really is the whole community coming together and sending them off on the flight. And it's just, I haven't seen the whole movie, I've just seen parts of it, and it seems very powerful. And this is really to jumpstart a lot of the work that's happening here in Berkshire County already. So Beth Wallace from the college, I called her immediately when we started thinking about this, because she's so well connected with the veterans community through the Student Veterans Alliance at the college. And we really want, besides having the movie there, we also will have different veterans services, have informational tables so that veterans in our area are making sure that they know about the services that are available to them throughout the county. So hospice will be there, Berkshire Community College will be there, Veterans Affairs will be there, all different veterans services organizations will be there to hopefully give them information if they need that.
So I want to say the date a couple of times throughout the show. It's 4 o'clock on November 11th, right. Which is Veterans Day, and where will it be?
It will be at the Beacon on North Street in Pittsfield, so we're very, very lucky to partner with the Beacon. They're very generous to open their doors to us. This is a free screening, so there's no cost to folks who are attending. We are asking for RSVPs, and we can get to that in a little bit, but we do want folks to register for it, but it's we want people to come out. They don't have to be a veteran. But we really just want folks to know about the services that are available to veterans.
Okay. So I know you talked about the partnership with Berkshire Community College and with Beth. So can you walk us through kind of the history of how this got started? Because hospice care in the Berkshires, typically your clients are older, whereas students from Berkshire Community College, it's an entirely different generation. So it's a great project. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. First of all, there's a national movement with the National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization, of which we are partners with them on a national basis. And they have formed a collaboration with the Veterans Administration on a national level. And what they're asking for local hospices to do is to find ways to partner with other organizations that are providing services for veterans to make sure that they know about the hospice benefit that they're entitled to when they need that. So it's finding those connections, those community connections, to really spread the word about hospice services and the benefits. And unfortunately, the timing was there was a tragedy at Berkshire Community College with one of their students, and it sort of all happened all at the same time. So we went to this training that the Mass Federation of Hospices held on veteran services. We came home, there was a tragedy, and we just figured this is the time. And it wasn't just that student, there've been a couple of local folks that have been killed in service as well. So we really think that this is the time for our community to really step up and make sure that people are finding the supports, whatever they are, in the community when they're coming home.
And Beth, can you tell us about the community of veterans at Berkshire Community College?
Sure. We have about 65 veterans, which includes dependents and spouses, at Berkshire Community College. And as we all know, as we all read the headlines, you know, the veterans, they're coming home and they go to college. I mean, that's an option for them. It's a good option for them. And so our numbers every semester increase. So it's really important that we as an institution took that on and made sure that we had services for them. The Student Veteran Alliance, which is a group that was formed, it was formed about 4 years ago. We had a veteran who had done 4 tours over in Afghanistan. He wasn't a traditional age, he was a non-traditional age student, and he came back to school. And it was tough for him. I mean, he didn't go to school right out of high school, obviously. It was a really tough transition for him to make. So what he missed and what he needed was a group of other veterans that he could communicate with and interact with. And so he said, we need to form a group. And I said, that's fine. And so we sent letters of invitation to all of our veterans. We had about 45 veterans that came that day for lunch. And the minute they all came together, they're all on campus, but they don't really know their veterans. So when they came together, the interaction and the communication, that it was amazing. I mean, the Vice President for Student Affairs and myself just sat and watched. It was really great. So from that came the Student Veteran Alliance. And so we have been together ever since. We meet every other week. And we have done some great things. We've made some positive changes at the college, including some, you know, now if you're a veteran, you can put that on your admission form. So we're able early to pinpoint you and to sort of interact with you early. And just the support services that we've put in place. We have some exciting news at the college. One of the things that the other community colleges in the state are doing is having little veteran drop-in centers. And we were fortunate enough to get some money from a grant, and we will have a Veterans Drop-In Center at the college. And we're hopefully going to be opening that on November 14th.
That's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. And so some of our vets don't need to have formal meetings. They just need to be with other veterans. So this is a place, there'll be a computer, there'll be a workstation, they can do homework, they can be on the computer. We're gonna have a coffee pot, we're gonna have some really nice furniture and some really comfortable couches. So we're really thrilled with that. Berkshire Works, we're doing that in conjunction with Berkshire Works. They too are gonna have a center. So it's really exciting. Some really good stuff is happening right now.
That's great. And I know you said when they first got together, it was like the veterans were speaking their own language.
They say things like, you know, what were you? And you'll hear 407, you know, Airborne National HGC. And we're like, oh my God, it's so incredible. And it happened again in the fall when we had our first meeting 2 weeks ago. And so the veterans all come together, and some of them are 22, and some of them are 52. And some of them have been, I have one student who just came back in June. He's done 2 tours and he's 22 years old. And then I have somebody else who is a mechanic on the big C5s that transport, you know, machinery and vehicles and everything. So it's everybody, and they ask what their rank is, and they go around the table, and you know, if we were to do an introduction, we'd say where we work, they say what rank they are. It's really, it's amazing.
So can you tell me about when Erin first reached out to you about the idea of partnering for Honor Flight and what your reaction was?
Sure. As Erin mentioned, we had an unfortunate tragedy at the school with one of our students, and so I've been getting, you know, throughout the summer, I've gotten a lot of phone calls from agencies that have just reached out to me to say, what can we do? What can we do? And Erin called, and I'm thinking, wow, that's interesting, you know, it's hospice. And we got together and we met, and it just all made sense. And the beauty of this is, and I spoke to my vet group about this, and they're thrilled. And they're so excited to meet these World War II vets. So we are gonna have, you know, some 22-year-olds with some, you know, 85-year-olds, but it's the same. You know, it's different, but it's the same. And so I think it was just a natural partnership. And as we started talking, things just evolved and everything made sense. And it's just so exciting, and we're thrilled to be a part of it.
It's great.
Yeah, and I think one of our goals really is to have, one of hospice's goals is really to have a veteran-to-veteran volunteer program. And we really want, if we do have a veteran that's on service, is to have a veteran be able to visit them and to be able to have those conversations that are unique to veterans. And we're hoping we can, you know, pull some of the students from the college to be able to be part of our volunteers that will do that. So that's one of the pieces that we're developing. And again, it's really, when you're talking about veterans, it spans all ages and all families, and so we really want to have our reach be as wide as possible.
I remember, Erin, you saying that 1 in 4 people who are dying are veterans, and if you're talking about males, it's 1 in 2.
Yeah. I mean, the statistics are staggering, and so we want to make sure that when veterans are reaching the end of life, that you know, have they been recognized as a veteran? Have they been able to tell their story? That's one of the pieces that, with this generation leaving us, we want to make sure that we have their stories, that they had the opportunity to tell their story, to make sure that they were able to put to rest whatever they needed to put to rest, so that they can be peaceful and have dignity throughout their entire life. So we think by providing them, by recognizing them, making sure that we're taking care of them in the way that they most need, and providing them specifically with a veteran volunteer that will be able to meet those needs for them.
Okay. So can you tell me, Erin, who else has been involved in planning for bringing Honor Flight here to Pittsfield?
Sure, and Beth will have to help me with this, because we really have tried to reach as far as we can. So Roseanne Ferrari from the Pittsfield Veterans Office, we've contacted her. Bill Sturgeon has been another source of information. We've had
Scott Gagnon. Scott is, he's a member of the VFW in Dalton, but he also is on the statewide board. So he's been able to sort of more globally look at things and help us to figure out who exactly should be invited and get us some good lists.
Right, and we've partnered with a couple of other community veterans that have connections with the Legions or different veterans organizations, and they'll help us send flyers and posters and that type of thing. So we are hoping that the word is out, that people know everybody's invited. You don't have to be a veteran. Anybody will be able to attend that event. Show your support for veterans, or find information that you need.
Okay. And I think it's important, you know, one of the things that we really focus on from a Student Veteran Alliance perspective is awareness. And I think what this movie does, as Erin said, you don't have to be a veteran, but just to bring the awareness and what you learned from being a part of this afternoon. I think it's really important for people to understand that, because as a civilian, as we would say, you know, I've learned so much just from listening and seeing and meeting people.
So I want to bring Rachel Redd into the conversation, and Rachel from Hillcrest Commons here in Pittsfield works also with the VA in Leeds for patients and residents from Hillcrest. And I know that you helped Erin with some of those connections and bringing groups in for Honor Flight. So can you tell me more about the veteran services that Hillcrest offers?
Sure. Hillcrest's involvement with providing services to veterans has evolved substantially over the course of the past year. And the launching pad for that really seems to be when we had our annual VA survey in. Some of the VA administration comes into all nursing facilities that contract with the VA. And so they were in our building, and they were really impressed with our secured geri-psych unit. And they had an idea to connect my admissions department with Leeds VA, who has kind of a subacute psychiatric facility located there. And they had had a couple of gentlemen who had been living there for, some of them for up to 10 years, in this subacute short-term psychiatric setting, who were veterans that were service-connected for payment, so they could come into a skilled nursing setting and have a little bit more of a home-like environment, but they had failed at a couple of other places. And so we worked really hard with the Leeds VA and the social worker there to get them all transitioned over to Hillcrest, which has been a really positive experience, I think, not only for the veterans themselves, but for our staff, because they came from a place, this subacute setting had beds that were bolted to the floors, and just a very sterile environment where they had to go to a window to get medications, and it's a small unit, so the population was turning over quickly, and it was people who really needed acute psychiatric care. So since they've been in our facility, they've been able to decorate their rooms the way they've wanted to, and have all of their possessions back and bookshelves, and really form relationships with other residents in the facility and be able to go out on outings. And so it's been really positive, I think, all around. And it's great to know that we can really branch out and offer services to veterans that really need it.
Wonderful. So we're going to take a short break, but before we do, Erin, can you let our viewers know how they can reserve spaces for Honor Flight?
Sure, they can call our office, which is 413-443-2994, or they can send us an email on our website, which is hcib.org.
Great, thank you. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to learn more about hospice care in the Berkshires.
Nestled in the center of the picturesque Berkshires of western Massachusetts, hospice care in the Berkshires has served the county for more than 30 years. Hospice Care in the Berkshires is a proud affiliate of Berkshire Healthcare, the state's largest nonprofit provider of nursing, rehabilitation, and senior housing in Massachusetts. Berkshire Healthcare is committed to fulfilling the health and residential needs of the people in the communities we serve. Hospice Care in the Berkshires offers comfort, compassion, and the emotional and spiritual support families and patients value when faced with life-limiting illness.
When my mother-in-law was diagnosed with terminal cancer, we had hospice come directly to our home. It's where she resided and wanted to have her care done. It was a tough time for the family because it was a shock to find out the limited amount of time that she had. But when we started working with hospice, they came in and worked with us wonderfully. They helped us navigate through all the administrative tasks. They told us about all the services that were available to both the patient and the family, the social workers, the home aides, the nurses, and really helped us get through this tough time.
Our caring, dedicated, and experienced team of professionals supports patients and families where they live, whether it's at home, a nursing home, or assisted and independent living facilities. This team includes hospice-trained physicians, hospice nurses, family counselors, spiritual counselors, and hospice aides.
Oftentimes people ask us, why do you work for hospice? Why would you do this? Why do you work with dying patients? And I think most of the people on our team would say that it's an honor to work with people at end of life. It's an honor to try to support families and patients through end of life, to make sure that they are cared for with dignity, that they die peacefully, that their families are supported through that process. It's our goal to make it even a little bit better if we can. We can't change the outcome, but to be there and to support families through the process and patients through the process in every aspect is really important.
And we do try to support both the physician and the patient and family at this time in their lives in whatever location that patient and family want to be.
And I just knew that when I retired, I wanted to be part of helping people that were dying and didn't have someone to be there to support them. I knew that that's something I wanted to do.
Our incredible team of hospice-trained volunteers are instrumental to the support we offer families. Our team of over 100 volunteers helps with transportation to appointments, running errands, and respite for the caregivers.
When you know that you can make a difference and that person is secure and feels not as scared because they have someone to sit there to hold their hand, I just can't tell you how, you just feel like you're floating on a cloud when you leave. And to be there when they actually die and to know that you've made it easier for them, you just can't explain that.
Hospice Care in the Berkshires is grateful to the many people who make donations. All the funds raised support the agency's community programs and services, an integral part of how we serve Berkshire County.
Bereavement services at Hospice Care in the Berkshires are funded through philanthropic dollars from the community, and that would include donations, memorial donations, and also community events that we have, such as our gala, our remembrance walk that we have every September, and that allows us to provide bereavement services to all members of the community, not just folks who were hospice patients' families.
I would definitely recommend Hospice Care in the Berkshires to other families. Again, the range of services was wonderful. In fact, I love the organization so much that I now volunteer and help other families who are going through it.
Choosing hospice isn't about giving up on life. It's about choosing the support needed in order to live a full life right now. For more information about how Hospice Care in the Berkshires can help, call us at 413-443-2994.
Welcome back. So we are here talking about Honor Flight, which is a special event planned for Veterans Day, November 11th at the Beacon Theater at what time?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. Great. So can you tell us what the night will be like on November 11th?
Sure. So what we're hoping is that we will have several organizations, veteran service organizations, have information tables or just even pamphlets or some type of information that will be available for folks. We actually contacted the person from Honor Flight New England, and he is attending, so we're really excited about that. So if people are interested in taking the Honor Flight, they'll have the opportunity to talk to the gentleman who coordinates that for New England. And I know they leave out of Boston, so it's a little bit of a trip. It would be a big trip for somebody from the Berkshires, but I think we could swing it for them. Mm-hmm. And then they'll watch the movie, and we'll just go from there. So we're just really, again, hoping that people are able to learn about the services that are available. If they don't need them themselves, that they're able to share that information with folks who might.
And the students will be there too.
And the students will be
Yeah.
there, and they're excited. And I was just going to say, you know, if people want to come a little bit early so that they can, you know, walk through the tables in the lobby and do things like that, I think that that's really important. So the movie starts at 4, but they can come earlier. We'll be ready.
We'll be ready.
And Rachel, are the veterans from Hillcrest Commons going to be there?
We do plan to fully support any veterans who plan to go.
That's great. That's great. And so, Erin, can you tell me just some of the other ways that Hospice Care in the Berkshires honors veterans?
Sure. So we're really starting small, and one of the first things that we really need to do, because we want to do it right. So one of the first things that we're doing is providing training for our staff. So we're going through a series of trainings for staff so that they are aware, making sure that they know that they may be dealing with a veteran and what their particular needs will be or could be during the course that they are with Hospice Care in the Berkshires. So that is in progress right now. And then we are changing part of our admissions forms to make sure that we are asking people if they are veterans.
Like what Berkshire Community
Like what we
College
did,
yeah.
Right, which is really important. People think, well, you know, is that important or not? And it really is, just to ask the question. and making sure that we're recognizing if people are veterans and acknowledging that and thanking them for their service.
Wonderful. So before we close, can you tell people again when and where and how they can reserve seats?
Sure. So it will be November 11th at 4 p.m. at the Beacon on North Street in Pittsfield. And you can reserve seats by calling the Hospice Care Office, which is 413-443-2994, or going to our website at hcib.org.
And it's free for veterans.
Free for everybody.
Free for everybody.
Free for everybody.
Great.
Right.
Well, thank you all for being here. Happy Veterans
Welcome.
Day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And this has been InfoSource, a presentation of Berkshire Healthcare Systems.